Thank you, Anat and Amit. Thank you, everyone, for having us. Thank you, More Conference, for having us as the panelists. It's an honor. My name is Fahad Siddiqui, and I am running a design and build firm in Saudi Arabia. And I've been in the position of decision-making for the past 9 years now. And we've been seeing how the market has changed because we're talking about sustainability in construction right now. So the trend in Saudi Arabia, how it's changing, will shed a bit of light on that. What we do, just to brief you guys, because there's finance people here as well. So just to put things into perspective, Amit, there are only about 100,000 certified structures in the US that are certified sustainable structures, approximate. This data is from 2021. In UAE, I'm not sure of the figure, but in Saudi Arabia, there's only 896 sustainable structures that are certified. I am building 4 of those. So that's what we do. So we have a very close relationship with the sustainability and construction. So looking forward to a good discussion. After you, Amit.
Especially in dense housing projects, when we are looking at high-rise apartments, when you're looking at big cities, where my colleague comes from, Bangkok, or where I originate from, which is New Delhi, India, where you've got a lot of dense population, a lot of high-rise structure, how are we achieving energy conservation and energy saving goals in areas like that? I mean, from one aspect, is it really saving cost, or is it really just something that people are selling in premium housing? What's your take?
I think it's a bit of both. There is no right answer for that. But before we come to that, Amit, I think because we have people from finance as well, I just want to shed a bit of light so they understand what sustainable construction means or what sustainability is all about, because it sounds like a boring topic to somebody that's not an engineer. I'll just explain it to you in a couple of seconds. Basically, construction is it's a dirty industry, because not dirty in terms of we do a lot of carbon emissions. That's what I want to say. Construction industry, as per the data of 2022, we accounted for about 32% of carbon emissions globally. So what that means for a layman is basically when there's carbon emissions, destroys the ozone layer, which causes the greenhouse effect, which then causes global warming, and then your glaciers melt and water levels goes up, and then the floods and all these things start happening. So why is sustainable construction as an industry we need to take on it is because sustainability not only means the practices that we do today, it's also for the future generations to have enough resources available to them to live peacefully. So we don't want to run out of raw materials, and that's where it all comes in for energy conservation, water conservation, and all those things, recycling, bio-oxides. These are the things. Your question was, is it financially, does it make sense? I think it does. Depends on what your vision is. If it's a short term, like 5, 7, 8 years, no. But if you're looking at 20 years, 25 years down the line, there is studies from University of California, from World Green Building Association. All of them have data released that it starts giving your rental value, even as a builder, as an investor in real estate, it's 13 to 20% higher than a non. So if you want to call it premium for now, yes, that's what Bill Gates is saying. We all agree that it's expensive. If I'm doing construction of a structure in Dubai, and the cost is, say, 900 dirhams per square foot, a sustainable structure is going to probably cost 1,300 dirhams per square foot. So it's expensive at the beginning. But when you see the amount of savings that we do in the design aspect of it, so for example, one of the buildings in Ireland, correct me if I'm wrong, 70% of the time, the lights are switched off, because the way sustainable structures are designed is for the sunlight to maximize the lighting requirement of the building. And the remaining time when you do need the light, there's occupancy sensors that's going to help you. So if nobody's there, the lights are going to go off by themselves. So little things like those, at the end of the day, make a huge impact on the savings that you have. And then water conservation, 11% is the data registered by United States Green Building Council, that you save 11% water annually. So that's just not even recycling or reusing or just the conservation using, those special mixers that they have, or the flushers, lower ones. So these are little things, and then yes, so definitely it makes financial sense in the long run. But if anybody is looking to build a villa, for example, and make it sustainable with a solar panel, it might not give you the results that immediately. So it needs to be at a more macro level than the micro level. I think the biggest problem with sustainability and construction related is that we need to educate the people about it. A lot of people, and you'll be surprised even in this market, part of the world, a lot of people do not really want to hear the word sustainability because it's in an everyday matter, it doesn't make financial sense. So once it doesn't make the once it doesn't cross that bar, they don't want to go to the next step. So we need to, I think, even at a macro level, the education needs to be there. And then, like we were discussing before this, Amit, that it needs to start from school. It needs to be in a plan by all, at state level for all countries across the globe to, take a step ahead and educate the children about it. You mentioned countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Over there, even, subhanAllah, we can include that as a part of our religion. In Islam, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he clearly said in a couple of instances where you are not a Muslim if you don't plant a tree and you don't take care of it the whole life. And in another hadith, he said, even if you hear the horn of the day of judgment and you have a plant in your hand, if you have the time, plant it. So those are the extreme measures that we need to teach the kids growing up. And then in the Western world, we need to teach them the real benefits of those things. So this is sustainability in 2 lines. That's how important it is. They need to know that the next flood is going to be at their doorstep. Few countries like Bangladesh, Pakistan, India are suffering right now. Who knows who's next? So these are the things that need to be known to them, that with your little effort of planting a plant, for example, now in Saudi, our Crown Prince, His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman, he took a very good initiative of planting 1 billion trees. And they're right on it. The work has already begun for that. So those are the kind of steps that you need to take at the state, because the vision comes from the top. So when the governments take an action on that, and then they keep marketing the action, keep telling the people again and again and again, then it all starts to make sense. That's when the big corporations then get involved. That's when the SMEs, and then the big corporations have that power to tell their vendors, who are the small and medium enterprises, that you need to be practicing this to be able to do business with this. And that's how the trickle-down effect is going to come in the market until it becomes a lifestyle. So it needs to become a lifestyle. Other than that, there is no until and unless it goes into the masses. And then at the same time, with the way fast-forwarding technologies are coming up now, there are cost reductions in how we were constructing sustainable buildings, say, 5 years from today, 5 years now. And it's a small market. Amit, you need to understand that in 2019, the entire sustainable construction market was, what, $900 million? And 2024, it's predicted to be $2.2 billion. So it's still a very fresh market. So even as builders, as construction companies, we need to tap this market, because the fashion and the passion is going towards green construction in the whole region. So we want to be a part of that. We want to contribute and at the same time make some money in there. It has to make financial sense. So you are going to be liked if you're doing sustainable construction. And that's what I felt, because I'm doing 4 sustainable structures and they are willing to pay what you want. So as I'm talking completely from financial point of view, as a construction company, as a fit-out company, as a design, you are liked by the top decision makers if you are following this part of the vision. And in 2050 in Saudi, we've already announced that we're going towards net zero. So with the global vision. So there is a lot of work to be done. We're at 2023. There's only 26, 27 years to go. And it's very fast moving. So the market is expanding. And Saudi right now is the biggest construction market in the world, with 5 giga projects ongoing in parallel. And all of them have either LEED or BREEAM or any type of certification. It's a must. It's a mandatory requirement for all those structures to have it. Even the ones that are developed, King Abdullah Financial District, CAF, one of the biggest projects in Riyadh city. I'm talking about Riyadh. Now the interiors of the fit out, they need a LEED certification on there. So for most of the parcels, most of the buildings. So this is something beautiful coming from the top, and it's flowing right down. So I think that would probably answer the question.
But what we are seeing is a lot of people going in and understanding that how do we do dense housing, low-cost housing, and drive sustainability in that area, which is really, really needed. Going forward, I think talking about green buildings and not talking about sustainable materials will not be right. So often I've encountered things like recycled steel, recycled timber, even organic materials. My biggest worry and my biggest question has been that whilst all this is great, fantastic, but is there enough availability of sustainable materials to use in construction that gives you the kind of cost parameters that projects work with?
Exactly. So that's the area where we are falling a bit behind, Amit, because exactly what we're discussing. If it's so nice, it gives you the ROI. It's very ethical. It's pro-human, pro-world citizen, like Not said. So why don't we see so many green structures? Why is there only 896 in KSA and only 100,000 in the US? And the problem is that the scarcity of resources, number one. Secondly, the scarcity in design offices that actually design sustainable projects. See, you can use all the best sustainable material, low cost, lightweight, recycled and everything, but if that building is using even 400 square meters of free space, which is not utilized, I was not going to call it a sustainable structure, because the design needs to make sure that every single square meter is utilized, even if it's free space. It needs to be in the plan. It can't just be a plan without a design mindset behind it for it to be sustainable. Because again, the space optimization is a part of sustainable design as well. So again, and then the third, there is a scarcity in the construction companies who have the capacity and the ability to construct sustainable structures. And this is the reason why we see that despite it being such a beautiful concept, and that's where we say we need to educate people more, that we don't see many green structures as much as we should. Despite being a global village, despite being social media, which is now everybody has access to information, despite all of that, there is a very slow progress. Just like I said, in 2019, 900 million, 2024, it's 2.1 billion. So that's a very slow curve. It's going to go up, but it's taking way more time than it should. Maybe COVID was one of the reasons, and definitely is, just like everything hampered, so it did. And then after COVID, people don't want to spend on luxury. That's the first thing that they want to cut down on. Finance guys would agree with me. So maybe that has hampered our progress that was started really good at 2019. So maybe a year, 2 years down the line, you'll see that it might shoot up. And all the indicators are in the favor of sustainable construction, because now that US is giving you grants, loans, a lot of facilities where a regular builder would not get. Be it lines of credit, be it easy permits, be it tax credits, tax refunds. US has already started doing that, and that being the biggest economy on the globe is the trendsetter, and then so everyone else is following the suit as well, and that is what's going to make sustainable a household name. Right now, sustainability is not something that we discuss with our parents or with our children but for it to be that's what needs to be done. That it has to be on a macro level, definitely.
It's interesting because when we
Hi, this is Manya. So I'm also coming from the same place as Mr. Amit is. So fine. My question to Mr. Fahad, right? You were talking about it in Quran. It is mentioned for planting a tree and so, right? Even you were talking about like the government policies, the compliance and everything, right? But my question is how you have aligned your company to the SDG goals, right? Apart from that, whatever government compliances are there, regulations are there, what do you think? What is the implementation rate of the green building?
I didn't understand the last part of your question. Sorry, just the last bit.
Last part I asked, what is the implementation rate of this green building and all? Whatever government regulations are there, right? Everything is on the paper, right? But what is the implementation rate?
Okay. First, I will just make a small, maybe I was not able to explain that clearly. It's not in the Quran, it's actually in the Hadith. So it's a little different. Hadith is the saying of the Prophet. So that's just a side note. The implementation rate in Saudi, now that we're still in the stage of setting the net zero targets for 2050. And the way Saudi is moving right now, the speed of movement of new concepts and new ideologies is very rapid. And that is something which even people like us who've been in Saudi for a very long time did not expect, how quickly they change, and then the public to adapt to it, which has been amazing. The transition has been amazing. And because the fashion is being set from the top to the bottom, so when we say that this is going to be done, we have a 80% assurity that it will be done. So, and that because of the strict compliances, number one. Two, because of the good education. Three, because the public I see is very adaptable to pro-green, because everyone I speak to, all our clients these days, everybody has an intent. Not all of them have the funds, but at least the intent is there. So that's the first step. As long as the intent is there, you know, there will come a way to have it done. So we've passed the 50% where we made them have the intent. Now it's just about the funding, where Amit and I, you know, we shed light on it, that how governments need to start funding these projects at better rates, give them more tax cuts, give them more, in countries like ours, more lower cost visas, you know, XYZ, so many things can be done at that state level. And it's happening. Somebody spoke of free zone earlier in KSA. So, you know, that's attached also to somehow to sustainability as well. There is going to be sustainability goals attached to those things as well. So eventually we will get there. Success rate in Saudi is going really good for sustainable construction, because now I'm talking about not offices, now even retail outlets are going for certifications to be ensured that they are certified globally as sustainable structures. No, definitely. We're still aligning ourselves actually with that, because we're in the history of the world, we're still a very young company. So we're aligning ourselves to that. We have our own, when we were building our own head office, we have already listed that to be a sustainable structure. So there's still going to be analysis on that and what. So whatever we can do from our little pockets, we're trying our best to do. And then just to set an example, so that when we do speak to other people, it's not just that he's sitting on a stage lecturing us. It's actually, it's something that he's applied on himself as well. So we're definitely working on that.